My brother wants me to have a threesome with his girlfriend. Recently, I F24 have noticed a massive change in my brother's behavior ever since he came back from visiting his girlfriend. My brother, who's 2 years older than me, has been dating Jane for around 10-11 months. They both live on the opposite side of the country in a city that's very far from where I live. For context, I live with my parents because I'm Asian, and it's considered normal to do so until married or if you have a job in a different state or country. My brother recently came back for New Year's and will be living with me and my parents for around 3 weeks to 1 month. Recently, after he came back, he's been dropping some not so subtle hints that he wants me to do it with him and at least have a threesome with his girlfriend if I'm not willing to sleep with him alone. Here are some instances of when he's dropped these hints. 1. He would randomly talk to me about his girlfriend and say that she's just like me and that there's no difference between the two of us. And in that same sentence, he would say just how much he wants to do it with her, but that she's just like me. 2. He talks about how me and her look the same, and sometimes he thinks of me when he's being romantic with her. After he said this, he also went out of his way to explain that he meant just dates and cute conversations with her when he said that he was being romantic with her. 3. He wants me and her to get along since he wants me and her to be closer than anyone else before he gets me and her to do things together that he thinks we 3 might enjoy. I have a boyfriend that my brother hates with a burning passion. His reason? It's because my boyfriend isn't manly enough and won't be able to satisfy me in life. He says satisfy and explains that he means satisfy me in life with expensive gifts and money and a big house. But I know that he has a deeper meaning behind that. My brother has also directly asked me if I'm willing to show him my body. This has been happening for as long as I can remember, but my parents don't believe me when I tell them about this. In fact, everyone in my family thinks that I'm just jealous of his GF. Am I wrong for wanting to hurt my ex? My 18 girlfriend 18 and I have been together for 3 years. I had an unfortunately abusive childhood which made me very clingy and easily attached to new people as I grew up. My girlfriend at the time we started dating at 15 was the opposite. We were both unfamiliar with relationships as this was our first. But unlike most relationships, we started off bad. The first couple of months, she'd make jokes about my appearance and talk bad about me with her friends. I was young, lonely, and lived with just my father, who worked until late at the time, so I continued to let her treat me poorly so she wouldn't leave me. A year later, we were 16 now, she got bored and put me on a break after she started college. Me, not knowing what a break was, went along with it, because if I didn't, she'd leave. She spoke and hooked up so many guys behind my back, even going to the length of asking me for advice. I slowly became depressed. I dropped out of college on my first day and was bedbound for weeks. We eventually became distant for a while, and I wouldn't get any better. I'd start laughing randomly to stop myself from crying, talking to myself. I wouldn't sleep, couldn't even be bothered to celebrate my 17th birthday. It was painful. After about 8 months of feeling like shit, I began to improve myself. Went to the gym, took therapy, got a job, got on a diet, skincare, and late night runs in the cold. I would try everything and did this consistently for a year because the pain and sadness became my only motivation. On my 18th birthday 4 months ago, I was so much better mentally, physically, financially, and was ready to start fresh. Until I got a call. It was my ex on a private number calling to tell me happy birthday. Said she looked around to try and find my new number so she could speak to me again. We spoke for a while. She'd tell me how she was sorry for the way she treated me and that she's grown out of it. I'd end up telling her I forgive her and talking more. We'd take each other to parties and began hooking up. But recently realized she was becoming obsessed with me. She'd act much nicer, was clingy, would get jealous if I spoke to any other girl and cared a lot more about my opinions on things. It gave me this weird feeling, like she's using me. Something inside of me also wants her to feel what I felt. I want to hurt her the way she hurt me. But then again, what if she really has grown out of it? What if she really does want to try properly this time? I don't know what to do. I've enjoyed her company so far. Today I fucked up by beating up my stepfather. The other day when I was getting ready for work, I heard my mother screaming. So I go see what's up. And as I came into the living room, I saw my stepfather push my mother. Before he had a chance to do anything else, I punched him in the side of his head. He collapsed backwards on the couch, and I hit him again and again. Hard. He was covering his face, yelling, "Stop," so I hit him with a solid right hook to his left ribs. I heard and felt the wind leave him. That's when my mother stopped me. Anyway, now, it looks like I've got to move. Tomorrow, I've got some accommodations made, but it's not ideal. Now I've added 20 minutes to my commute, reduced my living space, reduced my access to groceries and other niceties. And also now, I've got to work as much as possible to help my mom get a new place. My mother keeps telling me that I should have stopped him with my words, and then we could have prepared better to leave. I think that would have been the best course of action, but it did feel real good to put him in his place. My mother is afraid that he'll try to get me back, and I kinda think the same. I don't think he's willing to just be 0-1 and let it go. Also, it's worth mentioning that he's about twice my size. I've got some solid Muay Thai fundamentals behind me, but I don't like my odds. I got revenge on my bully. In school, I was relentlessly bullied. 2 girls in particular had it out for me. I was shy, loved to read, didn't do the popular stuff. So I was the perfect victim. They'd literally torture me by holding me down in the staircase when we were alone and sticking pinboard pins into my arms, legs, and feet. When I tried to tell teachers, they said I fell onto them as they were lying on the floor, or I did it myself. It didn't help that one of them was the daughter of one of the teachers at the school. Well, I finally got my revenge. I went to try out a new ice cream shop, and behold, one of the girls was serving the ice cream. I have multiple allergies, including milk and gluten, of which the ice cream shop claimed to be cautious. So I ordered gluten and dairy-free ice cream and set my phone camera up to film the area where the ice cream was prepared because I saw that the girl had recognized me and was certain she'd try something. And she did. I caught her on camera putting a spoonful of milk in the bottom of the bowl and crumbling the gluten-consisting wafers over everything, then camouflaging it with the last scoop of ice cream. She put it down in front of me and said, "I hope you enjoy it." I sweetly smiled at her and asked if she could get the owner of the shop, because I wanted to thank her for being so welcoming to guests with allergies. You can guess what happened next. I showed the owner the video and told her that I'd like to press charges, because in my country it is considered a criminal offense called inflicting bodily harm to serve someone an allergen when you know the person is allergic. The bully will never work anywhere where she'll come in contact with food again, and she'll have this on her criminal record for years. Am I the asshole for telling my half-sister that I don't care that my dad refused to raise her? My mom died when I 26M was 6. My half-sister was 2 at the time, and her dad was not in her life. My dad took full custody of me. He shared custody with mom when she was alive. My half-sister was sent to a foster family because none of mom's family were fit to take her, and they couldn't get in touch with her dad or any of his family. I can't say I ever really missed her. I knew about her, but I didn't really love her back then, so I never had any guilt for being raised in a loving home with my dad and stepmom while she was in foster care. We had 2 visits arranged by CPS in the first year after mom died, but then those stopped. She reached out to me a year ago via DMs, and we have communicated a bit through there. She found my dad through social media recently and told him he was a disgusting shit, and her not being a shouldn't have meant separating us and not caring about her. She told him a real good dad would have taken her because they loved me and couldn't stand the thought of an innocent little kid in foster care. She told him she would celebrate when he dies and will turn me against him if it's the last thing she does. Because I need my eyes open. I found out about what happened and told her, if she was going to try and turn me against my dad, then she doesn't need to talk to me again. She went through how shitty she feels he was for letting her go into foster care, and how a good person, good dad, a good man, would have saved her. She told me I should hate him for what he did. I told her I didn't care that he refused to raise her, that it wasn't his job to. She asked how I could be so cruel and cold about this. Because we're siblings, and I should adore her and want the best for her. She kind of lost it in DMs, honestly, so I muted her for a while, and she kept sending them, calling me all kinds of names.